well, let me start with this, Ed, because I know you were off. That our listeners, because they're very plugged in, they know that every summer all the world's elites go off to these kind of retreats, and they plan out everybody's lives. They sign into secret documents and so forth. And one of the cabals that does this is the Aspen Strategy Group, and I know you were there. And I don't want you to divulge anything. I know everything is in like Chatham House rules or some kind of crazy stuff. But what I'd love to do, before I welcome Kori Schake, who I see has also joined us, is I'd love you to give us a little bit of a readout, something that struck you. Not everything, don't divulge any confidences, but something that struck you at the Aspen Strategy Group.
Well, it's a good question because I was there. I mean, I have to make it correct. I'm shocked that I have to make this correction, David, because it's to you. But there is only one Chatham House rule, and you said Chatham House rules, and it's just intolerable.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Yeah, I mean, I knew
it needed a pedantic start to the day.
Yeah. Kori was gone for 30 seconds. And she is the one who's supposed to be doing that.
She is.
That's my lane, Ed.
But I had queued that up before you came on, Kori. And, once I've committed.
And maybe there are secret rules that they just don't tell you about.
Yeah.
There could be. But really? on the other hand, in full disclosure, my wife directs the Aspen Strategy Group. And I believe that she would divulge other secret rules to me.
Sure.
If they were being imposed on. But I mean, it was a very unusual. I've been, several times. And as you say, it's kind of a sort of smaller version of the Munich Security Conference that happens every February in Munich. I've been several times, but I've never been to an Aspen Security Forum like this, because on the Monday, it was due to start on the Tuesday, on the Monday of last week, Pete Hegseth, the defense secretary, pulled every single DOD participant in the conference, including several combat commanders, other senior officials. And then about an hour later, a bunch of other Republicans took Hegseth's cue. And the justification for pulling all these participants, administration participants, was that Aspen is an evil globalist organization. That's verbatim, evil globalist. And if if Aspen's evil and globalist, goodness knows, what either word really. Well, globalist for sure, but the word evil is, I think, to put it mildly, misapplied in this case. It's a very earnest exchange of, private and public panel events and private meetings, in which people from outside of the United States come, not just from allied countries, but from other militaries, other intelligence services, other defense sectors, and mainstream political figures, and is extremely useful, not least for combat commanders who love coming to the Aspen Security Forum. So it did kind of upend the whole event and give it a certain flavor, which I haven't detected before. But the discussion is very earnest. It's all in public. There isn't even a Chatham House rule. There's nothing that could possibly be presented as conspiratorial or perfidious, let alone evil, about this event. Which, nevertheless, because my wife was a battlefield surgeon in her previous life, was triaged back into being an exceptionally interesting and good conference. I'm sorry not to give you anything more.
That was, I got to tell you something. That was a completely useless answer. You didn't give us anything about the meeting. But nonetheless, because this is not my first job moderating, I can pick up on that and say, Kori, one of the things that Ed just said in trying to avoid saying anything about what happened there was that the United States administration, the Department of Defense and others decided not to attend, which frankly, I'm sure there was nothing that happened in any of the sessions that was more interesting or significant of where we are than that their absence said something. What do you think?
So I think the Department of Defense needs the Aspen Strategy Group more than the Aspen Strategy Group needs the Department of Defense. And I think all of us should push back on the notion that globalist is allowed to be used as an insult, as opposed to Americans who think about engagement with the world and how to make it in American interests. So this is more performative nonsense from the Trump administration, and in particular from Secretary Hegseth. I understand, since the Chatham House rule has been violated by people who are not Ed Luce, I understand that at one point, our friend and Deep State Radio colleague David Sanger pointed out on a panel that it was really dumb of the administration not to show up at Aspen and crow about the success of their attacks on Iran. And I think that's actually a really good point. David is exactly right.
Wow.
That in fact, it would be in the administration's interest to try and persuade precisely the kind of people who are curated to participate in the Aspen Strategy Group of the merits of their different approach to the world.
Well, that's an interesting point. I know Rosa used to raise her children by threatening them that if they did not behave, an evil globalist would come out from under their bed.
It's me.
Yeah, it was right, exactly. Kori Schake. First of all, I just want to.
I used to threaten that they would just have to spend all their summer vacations at the strategy group meetings.
Yeah, well, that'll do it.
And then, like Pete said, they didn't think that was a cool summer fun idea for a kid.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not.